My fiancée asked for a break to date her ex, saying she'd come back if it didn't work, so I made sure she come back to nothing. Hey Reddit. I've been lurking for years but never thought I'd be the one typing out a story like this. Still shaking a bit as I write it because it's one of those things you just don't see coming until it's standing right in front of you, setting fire to the life you thought you were building. Let me back up. From the outside, everything between me and my fiancée, let's call her Erica, looked perfect. We met 3 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding and the chemistry was immediate. She was magnetic, smart, funny in this disarming, sharp-edged way. People loved us together. Her Instagram was all sun-soaked selfies of us hiking, laughing over brunch, her hand on my chest with captions like, "Can't wait to marry my best friend." We got engaged last fall. I proposed with a ring that cost me 3 months of savings and a borrowed camera crew from a buddy who does wedding videos. She cried, said yes, told me I was her forever. But there were cracks. Little alarm bells I kept silencing. Like how she still kept in touch with her ex, let's call him Jake. She'd bring him up occasionally, usually in the form of a "Jake used to do that too," or "Jake always said I looked good in red." And I'd laugh it off, because insecurity wasn't something I wanted to bring into our relationship. But then there was that night, about 2 months before the wedding. She got home late, real late, and I was sitting on the couch, going over catering quotes. She didn't even greet me. Just walked in, kicked off her heels, and grabbed a glass of wine. Then, out of nowhere, she said, "Can we talk?" My stomach dropped. You know that tone. That dead calm tone. Like someone rehearsed what they were about to say in front of a mirror for days. "I've been thinking," she said. "And I need a break." I stared at her. What does that mean? She didn't hesitate. "I think I need to see if there's anything still there with Jake. I owe it to myself to find out." I kid you not, those were her exact words. "I owe it to myself." She went on, trying to soften it like that was even possible. "Look, if it doesn't work out, I'll come back. I just need to know before we get married. Before we get married." I sat there frozen. It was like she just told me she was going to borrow my car to go sleep with someone else, but hey, don't worry, I'll bring it back if it breaks down. She kept talking. Said she hoped I'd understand. That she still loved me but needed clarity. That I was her safe place, but she needed to explore her feelings. What she really meant. She wanted to screw her ex guilt-free, knowing I'd be there to catch her if it went south. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just said okay. I got up, walked into her bedroom, and started packing a bag. She followed me, confused. "Wait, what are you doing?" "Giving you your break." "Wait, you're really leaving?" "You asked for a break to date your ex." "This isn't a break. It's a breakup. You just don't have the guts to say it." Her jaw tightened. "You're overreacting." I zipped the duffel shut and looked her dead in the eye. "You think I'm gonna sit here like a backup plan while you chase closure with some guy who already let you go once?" She didn't reply. Just stood there, stunned, like she hadn't expected this to actually cost her something. I walked out that night and didn't look back. The night I left, I didn't crash at a buddy's or some hotel with a bitter drink in hand. I went straight to the house my grandfather left me 2 years ago, a dusty old place on the edge of a small mountain town about 3 hours out of the city. I hadn't touched it since he passed, but I always kept the keys. It was the perfect ghost town for someone who wanted to disappear. I spent the first night there with a space heater, a bottle of whiskey, and my phone on airplane mode. Erica texted me 4 times that night. "Can we please talk? I didn't mean for it to come out like that. You're overreacting. I'm not saying goodbye. I just need time. Don't throw this away." "Throw this away?" She already did. The next morning, I started my own break. Not from her, but from the life we'd built together. First step? Cutting the strings. Over the course of a single week, I called off the wedding. I emailed the venue, the caterers, the photographer. Most were sympathetic. A few deposits were non-refundable. Fine. Worth it. I even forwarded the bills to Erica's email with one line, "Here's your break." Sold my half of the condo. We'd split the down payment, but it was in my name. I put it up for sale through a family friend who works in real estate. Told him to keep it quiet, off social media. Got a cash buyer within 10 days. She never even noticed the listing. Cleared out our joint bank account. She'd stopped contributing after the engagement. Her money was her money, mine paid the bills. I moved every cent into a new account. No notice. Just gone. Deleted every trace of myself online. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all wiped. Blocked her number, email, and every mutual friend. Changed my number, too. I wanted to become a damn ghost. And I didn't tell anyone. Not even my parents. The only person who knew where I went was my best friend Caleb, and he understood better than anyone why I needed to vanish. He even helped me box up Erica's stuff and mail it to her mom's place. I didn't want to see her face again. I didn't want her scent in my damn living room. For weeks, I lived quiet. I chopped wood, fixed up the place, listened to old records from my grandfather's stash. There was peace and solitude I didn't know I needed. But you know what haunted me? That look she gave me when I said I wasn't sticking around. She really thought I was just going to sit there, wait, and hope she came back. Like I was some kind of emotional doormat she could wipe her muddy shoes on after she'd been out playing in the dirt. I didn't rage. I didn't post revenge photos. I didn't win in some performative chest-thumping way. I just disappeared. And silence? Silence drove her crazy. A few weeks after I vanished, I got a call from Caleb. "She's been asking around," he said. "Mutual friends, your folks, even showed up at your gym. Looks like things with Jake didn't go the way she hoped." I laughed. "Of course they didn't." Caleb hesitated. "You sure you're good, man?" "I mean, she looked wrecked." I paused, then said, "Good. She should be." I didn't need to see her fall apart. I didn't need to gloat. I just needed her to understand that I was never the backup plan. When she finally tried to crawl back, spoiler alert, she did. It wasn't me waiting at the door. It was nothing. 2 months. That's how long the silence lasted. No texts. No calls. Not from her, not from her friends, not from her family. I stayed off-grid the whole time. Caleb kept me updated with small things now and then, said Erica posted one of those vague Instagram stories like, "Sometimes you have to lose something to realize what it meant." You know the type. He told me Jake had moved to Austin after just 3 weeks. Ghosted her. Apparently, he told a friend of a friend that Erica was a walking red flag with commitment issues. The irony nearly gave me whiplash. She bet her life on a guy who'd already dumped her once. She was so sure he'd still want her, so confident that I'd be waiting in the wings when it fell apart. But the thing about emotional safety nets? Sometimes we cut ourselves free. And then one morning it happened. I was sitting on the porch, sipping coffee out of my chipped #1grandpa mug when my new phone, with a new number rang. "Caleb. She's back," he said. "Showed up at your old place. Banged on the door for 10 minutes. Apparently cried on the stairs after realizing it's empty." I leaned back in the chair. Took another sip. "You give her anything?" "Nope. Just told her I hadn't seen you." She looked, man, I don't even know. Like a kid who thought the fare would still be there when she came back with her allowance. A few days later, I finally checked the email account I'd abandoned. I'd made a separate one before the wedding to handle vendors and RSVPs. There were 11 emails from her. The last one was titled, "Please talk to me." Here's what it said, cut for length, but you'll get the idea. I know I messed up. Jake wasn't what I thought. He hasn't changed. He's immature, non-committal, selfish. I see now what I had with you was real. Safe. Solid. You're everything I ever wanted in a husband, and I let it go because I got scared. Please, can we talk? Even just coffee. I just need to explain. Explain? You don't explain jumping off a ship to see if the iceberg still has feelings for you. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. But it wasn't over yet. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my parents' house. Yeah. She rang their doorbell, crying, asking to speak with me. Said she just wanted closure. Said she felt lost. Said she couldn't believe I just vanished like that. My mom, God bless her, looked her dead in the eye and said, "You had him. You gambled. You lost. You don't get closure, sweetie. You get consequences." Apparently, Erica left in tears. The next day, I got another email. A Hail Mary. This time, the tone had shifted. "You're being cruel. I made a mistake, but what you're doing is heartless. You said you loved me. Where's that love now? Where's that love? That love was packed into the boxes I mailed to your mom's house. That love paid for a wedding you threw away like a scratch-off ticket. That love died the second you said you needed to explore your feelings with someone else." Still, I didn't respond. She tried one last time a week later, through Caleb. Texted him at 1 a.m. saying she was at the end of her rope and needed to see me. He sent her one line, "He's not your backup plan." And that was it. No more messages. No more emails. The well went dry. She realized the door wasn't just closed, it was gone. I bricked it up and painted over the wall. There was no way back in. And what I felt then, it wasn't triumph. Not exactly. It was something quieter. Firmer. Peace. After Erica's last email, the guilt-tripping, gaslighting, "Where's your love now?" masterpiece, I didn't feel angry. I didn't even feel smug. I felt done. Like when you finally stop CPR because you realize the thing you're trying to save was dead long before you got there. I spent the next few weeks finishing repairs on the old house. Fixed the porch swing. Replaced a busted window in the attic. I even built a new shelf in the kitchen for no reason other than it felt good to make something that didn't lie to me. That house became more than shelter, it became therapy. Every nail I drove into the wall, every piece of old wallpaper I scraped off felt like peeling away the version of me that would have waited. The man who would have forgiven her. I buried him in the backyard with the ring she gave back. And just like that, I started to come back to myself. Funny thing is, when you spend so long being someone else's emotional safe zone, you forget what it's like to have space just for you. I started reading again books that didn't have "How to Fix Your Relationship" in the title. I took long drives at sunset just to see how far I could go without checking my phone. I even started painting again. I hadn't touched a canvas since college. Turned out heartbreak made for some pretty raw art. But what really stuck with me was this recurring thought. How many other guys are out there being held hostage by someone else's indecision? How many are told, "I just need time to figure things out," when what she really means is, "I want to screw someone else, and if that fails, I'll come back to you because you're safe and stupid and won't say no." I used to think closure came from conversations. Now I know it comes from clarity. And silence? It screams clarity. One afternoon, I ran into a woman at the hardware store while picking up supplies. She had a crooked smile, paint stains on her jeans, and this way of looking at me like she'd already guessed I was healing from something big. We talked about brushes, then paint, then life. Her name was Lena. I didn't ask for her number. Not right away. But for the first time in months, I left the store with more than tools, I left with hope. Erica never knew this part. Never saw who I became after her. I think she believed I'd stay frozen in that moment forever, the guy sitting on the couch blinking in shock while she talked about needing to explore. But that guy? He's dead. And now she's just another name I learned to unlearn. I never checked her social media again. I didn't need to see the inevitable sad quotes and carefully curated growth posts. I didn't need to hear how this year taught me who I really am. Because I already know who she is. And more importantly, now I know who I am. I'll never be the backup plan. I'll never be the safe choice. And I'll never again beg someone to choose me. So you'd think after all that, the emails, the crying at my parents' house, the ghosting, she'd finally get the hint. Nope. Erica wasn't done yet. And neither was the wreckage she left behind. See, I'd forgotten about the orbit. The mutual friends. The ones who used to tag us in dumb brunch pics and call us relationship goals. The ones who knew exactly what she did but still clung to some deluded hope that we'd work things out. I got my first message from our old friend Melanie. "Hey, I know things got messy, but would you consider just talking to her? Closure might help you both." Closure. There's that word again. The one people use when they mean, can you just give her a chance to make herself feel better? I ignored it. 2 days later, one of Erica's bridesmaids, Sasha, messaged me on LinkedIn of all places. "You were always the more mature one. Maybe it's time to show that again." Like maturity is measured by how willing you are to get rebroken by the same damn person. I blocked them both. But the final straw came from Brian, one of my oldest friends who'd become one of our friends. We'd known each other since high school, but I guess Erica's crocodile tears work better than honesty. He called me out of the blue. "Hey man, she's not doing well," he said, like I'd care. "She's been going to therapy, says she's realizing how badly she messed up." I didn't say a word. He kept going. "I'm just saying, you two had something good. People make mistakes." That's when I finally snapped. "Brian," I said, calmly but ice cold. "You ever stand on a cliff and think, hey, let me just jump, and if I survive, I'll climb back up and try again?" No. That's what she did. She jumped. Into another man's bed. While I was picking out flowers for our wedding. She didn't make a mistake, she made a choice. So she can live with the landing. He got quiet. Then mumbled something about me being bitter. "You know what, Brian?" I said. "You're right. I am bitter. Bitter that I spent years being loyal to someone who treated me like a backup plan. Bitter that some of my friends care more about her feelings than my healing. And bitter that you, of all people, don't see how up that is." I hung up. Blocked his number. Haven't spoken to him since. That day, I wrote a message to the few mutuals I hadn't already cut off. It said this. "Please stop asking me to talk to Erica. Please stop making this about her healing. She made her bed. And then she slept in it with someone else. If you can't respect the peace I've earned, then you don't belong in my life either." Some of them unfollowed me. Others sent apologies. A couple admitted they didn't know the full story. I didn't bother explaining. Because at some point, you stop trying to prove who you are to people who never saw you clearly in the first place. A few weeks after that, I got a final letter. Mailed. Handwritten. No return address, but the handwriting was unmistakable. Erica. Inside was a folded card. No, dear. No, sincerely. Just one paragraph. I lost everything when I lost you. You were my home and I burned it down chasing a spark that went out years ago. I understand now if I never hear from you again. But I'll love you until the day I die. I held it for a long time. Not because it moved me, but because it confirmed everything. She didn't come back because she loved me. She came back because she had nothing else. And I made sure there was nothing here for her to return to. No keys under the mat. No familiar bed. No man waiting with arms open and spine broken. The man she left behind was gone. And in his place stood someone who'd finally learned how to choose himself.